ideas of what works in the United States, and they're your ideas, make them work in Sweden somehow. In all my years, I have met so few boys and girls who don't love their parents with all their heart and soul. Even parents drinking, even parents using drugs. Most of the kids that I work with would do anything to see their moms and dads stop. And they love them. And so the first issue to talk about with this work, it's very difficult to get boys and girls to talk openly about this family secret and to talk all about what goes on in the family. And what's key is helping boys and girls separate the person they love from the disease that consumes them and takes control of their life. Because they love to talk about what addiction does to a family, but it's hard for them to talk about what mom and dad does. What I would like to start with is just show you a series of pictures that boys and girls have drawn. Because I think children have so much to teach us, and to look at it from a child's perspective is really important. These were the instructions to boys and girls. Draw a picture about how alcoholism or drug addiction has hurt your family. Draw a picture. Here's what we're drawing. 12-year-old girl. When I saw this picture inside, I jumped for joy. Because what this girl was able to do was separate the addiction that had taken virtually everybody in her family hostage. Look how big the disease is. Look how ferocious it is. With claws and with teeth. Around its wrist is a steel band. And that steel band has her father, her mother, and her brother. She doesn't have anybody in her family that isn't devastated by this disease. And as she shared this picture in group and showed all the other boys and girls she was with, at the end she had one final thing to say. And as she said it, she began to cry. You could see the tears coming from her eyes. And she said this, "Am I next? Is addiction going to grab me next? It's got virtually everybody in my family." And the good news that I'm bringing you today is we can teach kids how to not fall in that trap. And if they happen to find themselves in that trap, we can see that they get help and they get treatment at much younger ages. That's the good news. An 8-year-old draws mom and dad in the can of beer. They're in the can of beer. Why did you put them in the can? I've never seen my mom and dad without beer. Mom and dad, stop. Stop. Stop drinking. Play with me. Recognize me. Love me. Teach me. Protect me. Play with me. Mom is crying in the picture. 8-year-old boy who drew this picture, and a big issue for so many of these children. 8-year-old boy drew this picture, and he said, "Is it my fault?" So many boys and girls think it's their fault, and continue to think it's their fault long into adulthood, unless someone tells them otherwise. Is it my fault? Do you know what? My dad tells me to go get him the beer, and I don't want to do it, but I do it because I don't want to get hurt. And I keep doing it. Do you think maybe if I didn't get Dad the beer, he wouldn't be drinking? And helping him understand it's not about you getting the beer. Your mom or dad has this disease that they need help for. It's not about you. It's not your fault. In 33 years, this is the best definition of alcoholism I've ever seen in my entire life. Look what the girl did. She drew the bottle. Look how big the bottle is representing the disease. And it had arms and legs. And it's running. And notice how she has it running downhill. I think it's fascinating. And chasing the bottle of death. His focus is on getting that next drink, getting that next drug. And I wasn't quite sure, what about Mom? Because is Mom chasing the bottle too? When I asked her, is Mom chasing the bottle? She looks at me and says, Mom's about to tackle that. Knock him right off the platform, he can get that beer. But as that goes on, look at the two children. In the dance of development, one of the most important dances we do our entire lifetime, the dance of development, if parental attention is focused elsewhere, children don't have a partner to the dance. Way too many children grow up and dance alone and miss out on all the guidance